Coronation Street's Betsy Swain is left deeply humiliated next week after Lauren Bolton convinces her to join her for a meal at the bistro. But what exactly leaves Betsy so upset? Wanting to support Betsy and help her regain her confidence, Lauren decides to take her close friend out for lunch at the bistro. Although Betsy initially agrees to the idea, she soon wishes she had stayed home when a remark from Debbie leaves her feeling embarrassed and knocks her self-esteem. It begins when Betsy accidentally knocks some cutlery from the table, reveals our street source. Lauren immediately jumps in to help her, but Debbie spots what has happened and jokingly suggests that Betsy has been drinking. Debbie doesn't realize how upsetting her words are, and she certainly isn't trying to be cruel. But Betsy is left absolutely mortified by the comment. The awkward encounter comes as Debbie's family and friends grow increasingly worried about her frequent memory problems. Among the incidents are Debbie arriving at work in slippers and later slipping back into her former hairdresser mindset when she attempts to give Bethany Platt an unauthorized makeover at Audrey's salon. Debbie's husband, Ronnie, repeatedly finds himself stepping in whenever another difficult situation arises, yet he is becoming increasingly concerned that her dementia-related symptoms are progressing. Elsewhere, earlier in the week, Lauren heads to number 6 to spend some time with Betsy, although her attention is largely taken up by her phone as she messages Ollie Driscoll. Betsy is understandably disappointed by her friend's lack of attention, and the experience eventually prompts her to open up to her mom Lisa about how lonely and isolated she has been feeling. However, things take a more positive turn later when Betsy reaches a major milestone and manages to stand for the first time since suffering her stroke, supported by her physiotherapist. At the same time, Lauren tells Ollie that they ought to bring some cake over to Betsy's house. But will Betsy actually welcome the surprise visit? Lauren genuinely wants to do something nice for Betsy, our source explains. Unfortunately, though, her attempt doesn't quite go according to plan this time. You'll need to watch to discover exactly what Betsy makes of Lauren and Ollie turning up. Could this latest incident put Betsy and Lauren's friendship under serious strain? Coronation Street's Sarah Platt Tina O'Brien has resorted to making a weapon behind bars as she attempts to send a clear warning to the other prisoners that she is not someone they should provoke. Sarah has been serving time in prison ever since she was arrested and charged with the murder of Theo Silverton James Cartwright. When she first arrived in prison, Sarah's lack of experience with life behind bars led her to form an unlikely friendship with another prisoner named Casey. For a while, the pair appeared to get along well, but their relationship soon became strained after Casey asked Sarah to get Kit Green, Jacob Roberts, involved in her son's legal situation. Sarah refused to help her, leaving Casey furious and threatening to withdraw the protection she had been giving Sarah from the other inmates. That threat understandably left Sarah extremely anxious, and tensions between the two women have continued to rise. In today's episode, Sarah became increasingly unsettled when Casey showed her photographs of her son Harry at the home of his new friend. Suspicious that someone outside the prison was secretly passing information to Casey, Sarah contacted Adam Barlow Sam Robertson to find out what was really happening with Harry. Adam reassured her that Harry was indeed spending time with his friend and explained what he knew about the situation. A couple of days earlier, Adam had crossed paths with Harry's new friend and his mum, Lottie. Lottie told Adam that she had only recently moved into the area and asked him for directions. The pair subsequently struck up a conversation, with Adam having no reason to believe that Lottie had approached him because of his connection to Sarah. However, things became more suspicious when Lottie was confronted by Adam and Alia Nazir Sayer Khan. During the tense exchange, Lottie admitted that she was connected to someone called Casey through social media. She was also the person who had uploaded photographs showing her son spending time with Harry. Lottie insisted that she was not secretly working with Casey and denied deliberately passing information to her before quickly leaving the scene. For now, it remains unclear whether Lottie really has been helping Casey or whether the entire situation has simply been a misunderstanding. Even without knowing the truth, the incident convinced Adam, Kit, and Bethany Platt Lucy Fallon that they need to pay much closer attention to Harry and make sure he remains safe. Then came a particularly ominous comment from Bethany, who wondered aloud whether Sarah could end up doing something reckless while behind bars. Bethany confidently dismissed the possibility, insisting that Sarah would never do anything so foolish. But viewers were then shown a worrying development inside Sarah's prison cell. Sarah was secretly filling a sock with snooker balls, creating what appeared to be a makeshift weapon. So, is Sarah simply preparing herself in case another prisoner attacks or threatens her? Or could she actually be planning to use the homemade weapon against one of her fellow inmates in an attempt to establish herself and teach someone a brutal lesson? Whatever Sarah has in mind, her latest actions suggest that prison life may be pushing her towards an increasingly dangerous decision. It's all a lie. Coronation Street reveals a shocking new twist in Lucy murder mystery. Sally and Tim Metcalf. Sally Dynevor and Joe Duttine are doing everything they can to cope with Lucy's droolie, Anya Dewan, increasingly difficult behavior in Coronation Street. Everyone has assumed that the youngster is struggling after allegedly witnessing her father kill her mother, but nobody has really considered whether Lucy's anger could instead be linked to being forced to keep quiet about what truly happened. Tim's cousin, Richie Nathan Sussex, is believed to have killed his wife Rachel following a heated confrontation between the couple. According to the version of events that has been presented so far, Rachel was the aggressor, and Richie only caused her death because he was attempting to protect himself from her violence. When Lucy first arrived at Tim and Sally's home, the couple tried to calmly prepare her for the changes that were about to affect her father. However, they were stunned when Lucy suddenly lost her temper and shouted directly at Tim, accusing him of not genuinely caring about her. It now appears that Lucy becomes particularly defensive whenever she believes she has to protect her father. That became obvious again in today's episode when Lucy clashed with Joni Savannah Pennington during an argument about their respective parents being behind bars. Desperate for some contact with her father, Lucy eventually got permission to speak with Richie over the telephone. While the conversation took place outside, Lucy received some much-needed reassurance from her dad. But Richie then made a highly suspicious remark, telling his daughter that everything would work out as long as she continued to stick to the story. That comment strongly hints that Richie's account of killing Rachel in self-defense may not be truthful after all. If Richie has been lying about what happened, the question now becomes even more intriguing. What really happened to Rachel? Coronation Street airs on weeknights at 8:30 p.m. on ITV1 and streams on ITVX.